Morning glory. Time for a morning glory. I can't get through that laughing, thinking about this episode when we were recording it. But time for a morning glory. You're going to find out what that means here in just a minute. The arcade hacks. Yeah, we talk about arcade hacks and then morning glory, but this episode had me in tears. If you don't know, while we jokingly call this season bro time, this episode should set it in for you, right? And for you dads who have kids a little older, like to go to arcades, like to play video games. Jeff has figured out how to hack an arcade for maximizing your wins and those tickets and those coins or whatever it is at the end that you can get your little bouncy ball. But Jeff's figured out a hack. So but be sure to listen to that. So if you want to stick around or chat anything about what we talked about, if you want to stick around, you're going to stick around because you're an awesome listener, right? But if you want to chat about anything that we discuss here today, you know what to do. You know what's coming up. This is episode number 174 of the W2 Capitalist Podcast. All right, Brody, you're here. Yep. Jeff has figured out how to hack an arcade, so you get mega points, mega bonus stuff.
So we're talking
about the important stuff,
and then the real estate stuff later.
Yeah, I can edit it.
Hey, to a certain degree, it's all real estate stuff, man.
I know. Yeah. So like me and my son, we go to the arcade. Like that's our bonding spot, And like when I was a kid, my dad was always like super stingy with like how much you could spend, and like there was all these regulations and all this crap. And I was like, I'm not doing that with my kid. So every time we go to the arcade, I load that card up big time, and we hit it. And I just follow him, and he just goes to whatever game he wants to play, and I do the swipe. And if it's like a person thing, I'll join him. And that's our thing. And so I got so sick of spending all this money, and at the end, like, you get your tickets, and like these days they keep it on a card,
right? And
I'd go and spend all this money, and then I go swipe the card, and it's like,
you've got 50 tickets, you get a bouncy ball,
right? And it's like, are you
500 tickets because inflation.
So I got pissed off at it, and I'm like, man, this is bullshit. Like, there's got to be a hack to this. Like, I want the good shit up on the top shelf,
Yeah, I want the Nintendo Switch for 80,000 points. That's what I want. Yeah.
So they've got these games called. Do y'all know what a coin pusher is?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So they've started putting them in arcades, and the only two I've really seen is there's like a Marvel one and a Willy Wonka one. And you go in there, and I'll just like swipe, and get all these coins, and I just hit the button, and they all come down. And then so you got the coins, and that gives you bonuses plus tickets, plus there's these cards that come down like an assembly line, and it kind of comes out with the coins. And if you collect enough of the cards, or a set of the cards, you get like a fuck ton of tickets. I mean, a fuck ton. Like 10,000, like something crazy.
You're one eighth of the way to the Nintendo.
So even if you don't get the whole set, like, it's still like worth a lot of tickets on its own.
So you're saying the coin pusher games, you go up where I would do one coin at a time, right?
No,
you're saying load it up and just knock that button out to where they all just fall and just okay.
Get you like 100 tokens and
strategery.
Tap, and just let it roll, and the cards will come out, and then you'll get bonuses for the coins that fall down. And there's no better way to rape an arcade. And I'm shocked that they even allow this game, but I've seen them in so many arcades.
Yeah.
And so it took me a while to convince my son of this, because he wants to go play the stupid games where you get like 2 tickets,
Yeah. Well, it's entertainment, right?
Right. So we do half and half. So like, we'll do whatever he wants for a little bit. And I'm like, son, like, if you want the good stuff, we need to go over here, and we got to tap, tap, tap for a little while. And he's finally like totally on board. So tonight we went to an arcade, and he was like, "Let's do this, Daddy." And it's
awesome.
like he's like, "Look how we like we were doing it together tonight. Like we were each on a machine, and we were just tapping away, and we got like what was it? It was 9,000 some tickets, and we were just at the machine, like what do you want, son? Like, take your pick. Like, it was anything, I mean, it's like one of these arcades. Like, it's not where there's like a counter and a bunch of stuff on the back. It was like a machine,
Okay.
They don't have to pay somebody to like.
Where you don't have to sit in line for 30 minutes to get your bouncy ball and your colored pencils. Yeah.
And we were just like, boom, boom, boom. And we racked up like so much shit. It's just laying there on the floor. People were like, "What the fuck is going on over here?"
Too.
And I was like, "Fuck, how are we gonna carry this stuff?" And
you need a bag. That's 15,000 points.
Exactly. Yeah, it would have been worth it because, like, I went over and asked one of the people at the counter. I was like, "Can I have like a plastic bag or something?" she's like, "Well, we don't allow plastic bags. I mean, it's like some bullshit." I was like, "Okay, can I have a paper bag?" Because there's a restaurant in this place, and I'm like, how do you give people their leftovers? And they're like, "Oh, we just give it to them in a like styrofoam container." Like, that's okay, but plastic bag. But anyway, so like I was like, I can't believe they won't give me some sort of something that I can put all this junk in. And finally,
time to take your shirt off, wrap it all up in your shirt,
I was
and walk out
about
shirtless.
to say the same shit, just like kangaroo pocket it.
Yeah, no, I was literally doing that, and some other person came out that hadn't seen me ask. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep asking. Like, I think they were just making up. Yeah. I think they were just making up stupid rules
so they wouldn't have to work.
And I was like, I saw a trash can with the trash bag in it. I was like, "Well, can I get a trash bag?" And they're like, "No, we can't give you that." I'm like, "What? Are you gonna get fired? Like,
for giving me a dime trash bag?"
So finally, this lady went and got me a box, and we loaded up and took our bounty to the car. So that's the hack. Get in on that coin pusher and just
next time we go, I'm coin pushing.
Push some coins.
Yeah, don't do that one coin at a time bullshit. You gotta
Never even thought about that.
Rip it.
Hey, one thing I'm gonna challenge you, Jeff, is there's a book. It's called The Family Board Meeting. It's by Jim Shells. Anyway, it basically is talking about what it basically makes you it comes up with a plan to spend one-on-one time with your kids, right? And so you do it once a quarter, and it's your board meeting, you and your son or whatnot. And we just recently started doing this, and it's pretty freaking incredible the way the kids are reacting to it. But they get to choose the activity. So where you want to go to the arcade and your son may get excited about doing it, ask him what he wants to do next time. Hey man, what do you want? Like you get to like the first one we did. This is not really the first because I chose the activity, but my son and I went and toured the USS North Carolina. It's a battleship. I don't think it's a USS. Anyway, North Carolina battleship. My daughter, our middle daughter, her turn. I was like, "Hey, what do you want to do? It's our day together. What do you want to do?" She goes, "I want to go fishing." Okay, great. We don't have any fishing rods. We gotta reach a fish. So we went to Walmart, got her a fishing rod, came back, spent maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes fishing. They weren't biting, so we were done. And then number 3, her time's coming up next week. She wants to go to the playground. She wants me and her to just go to the playground. It's really cool to kind of see that one-on-one bonding time. But when they get to choose, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that, and that makes perfect sense. But my son has no trouble telling me what he wants to do. And he is like Rain Man half the time. Like, when are we going to the arcade? When are we going to the arcade? Is it time to go to the arcade? What time does the arcade open? Can we go to the arcade? So I get that. And and to be honest, like I'm definitely very lucky. I don't know. I feel like I know a lot of people, or definitely a lot of men who don't see their kids that much.
Yeah.
Because of how much they have to work in order to pay
Yeah.
the bills. And I consider myself very fortunate to have the flexibility and the time to spend the time I can with them.
Yeah.
Of course, I I do still work a lot sometimes, but there's definitely like chunks of time where I can just be like, you know, let's go do something, dude. What do you want
Yeah.
to do? And then we just go do it. So, but
Yeah.
I do like the idea that just letting them pick. But he has no problem telling me what he wants to do.
That's awesome. So you want to get into this what your text was about earlier?
Oh my god.
Can we talk about that now or no?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's happened to me multiple times. So like most people would have seen what I saw this morning and would have had a fucking conniption.
Just flipped out.
Yeah, and like, what do I do now? So this has happened to me multiple times for multiple different kinds of reasons, and so it's just like it sucks because I didn't want to replace the flooring in this place, and we were like this close to being done with it.
What happened?
And
what do you?
So we had the conference, right, and but last night we got an Uber back up to Fort Lauderdale, and we're staying at Trina's mom's house, and I just crashed like a motherfucker, and I woke up at 7:15. Trina's like, "You got to go meet the electricians at this other house that we're doing the same thing to. They're going to be there."
Same thing being you're turning it to an Airbnb, or
yeah, it's okay. A long. Both of them are long. They were long-term rentals that we are transitioning them into short-term. What is up,
guys? Okay. What is up, guys?
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I get up and I go to the house.
Bro just got beer foam on his nose right now, by the way. Oh, you just missed it.
Sorry.
You just missed it.
I saw it. I thought he'd put toilet paper up his
I
nose.
did. I have a bloody nose from this Airbnb. It's really dry up here on the high altitude. But go ahead. I'm sorry. You got called out this morning, Jeff, to be an electrician. So you're going to a property.
Is it a little dry for the little baby?
It's so dry up here. My eyes aren't watering because I'm crying. It's because it's dry in here, okay?
Oh, man. That's funny. Sorry. I appreciate that you just owned it and you're like, yeah, that was beer foam. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Sorry, Jeff.
All right, Jeff, go on.
Before I so rudely interrupted your story.
So I go to the house and the electrician's not there, and there's like a couple other people working here doing some bullshit, and like I was in such a rush to get out, I didn't get my morning glory. So
what?
I was like,
wait,
hold on, stop, pause.
What a minute.
The
fuck
is that morning glory?
You don't know what that is?
Is that a handy from the electrician?
No.
Sorry, this is R-rated, right?
A military man should know what that is, bro.
I mean,
not a military man, but go on.
It's your morning shit, okay?
Oh.
Yeah, I've never heard that expression before.
I have, but it wasn't referring to taking a dump. No.
Go.
Well, it was this time.
I was completely caught off guard by that. Sorry, Jeff.
Y'all never watched that movie? Was Jarhead?
No.
A long time ago.
You think military people like abide by what they did in Jarhead?
I just know there was a line from it about some
morning glory,
some morning glory, and it was just the guy wanted to take his morning shit.
All right, there we go. Getting educated all around.
So it saved me, or it made things all right. I don't know. Things were pretty already.
I think that's gonna be the title of this episode.
Morning
glory. Time for a morning glory.
So like I didn't want to go back home or to my mother-in-law's house because like it had just been like I'd get sucked up into like, them wanting me to do like 20 things before I could go back out. So I went to the other house that was almost done, and I pull in the driveway and there's water. I mean, it hadn't rained here for a little while and there's water in the driveway, and I'm like, what the fuck is this water from? And I was like, well, maybe the morning dew off the roof or whatever,
Mother Nature had a morning glory and caused a puddle. There we go.
And I open up the front door and the whole house is just,
wow,
just covered, like at least like, like that much water throughout the whole house.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, where's this coming from? And I could hear it. The kitchen's like right there. The water for the ice that goes into the fridge, it popped up. And so I went and turned the water off. And so apparently there was this contractor that Trina had hired that she had never met before, but couldn't meet him because we were down there in Miami doing the conference. And we had removed a cabinet above the fridge because it just didn't fit. And he was patching it. So he had to pull the fridge out to patch it. And I guess in that process of pulling it out and pushing it back, like it popped off.
Holy shit.
And that was, what's today, Wednesday? That was Monday when he did it. So that thing had been running from Monday midday till this morning.
Well, thank God for the morning glory.
It saved me. It didn't save shit, really. I mean, there really wouldn't have been much of a difference. Like, two days. But all right, so imagine this, right? So I get there and I still have to fucking take a shit. And so I like wade my way through the water and then get to the toilet. And
wait a minute.
I still got to take a shit, man.
There's priorities when you have to. So listen, Jeff, I'm going to follow up on a funny poop story right after this. And it happened today for me. So go on.
I'm just thinking though, if I'm walking into a house now, granted, you gave us a preface.
I've already turned the water off. There's nothing more I can do.
Okay. All right. I didn't know you turned the water off before. Yeah. I thought you walked in and you prefaced this like, look, I've been here before. It's not that big of a deal. Anybody else been freaking out? And you walk in, you're like, huh. There's like an inch or two of water on the floor. That's interesting. I got to go take a shit and then I'll go figure it out later. I thought that was your sequence of events. So I was like, this is incredible.
I can see the fridge like right as I come in the front door.
Yeah.
And I was like, where is this coming from? Like if I turned the water off, I wouldn't have known where the fuck it's coming from. So I came in and then I could hear it from the fridge and I'm like, okay, I know where it's coming from. And I went back out, turned the water off. And then I was like, well, I still got to take a fucking shit. And so I went back in.
Oh, so you handled the water first like a good soldier. Good man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an
But
idiot.
you knew too, as a professional, you're like, you know what? I don't need to turn the water on. This is going to flush down the first time.
Yeah. I thought about
I was going to say, you must have known.
No.
Because
I know enough to know that there's water in the tank.
Well,
enough
yeah,
to
but
get it
sometimes.
Yes, right.
Sometimes.
To where
you might have to go turn the water back on, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, once I figured out where it was, I went under the kitchen sink and turned it off, the hose going to the fridge, and then I turned the water back on because, why not? But so I'm waiting. So I turn the water off, but there's still a shit ton of water. So I'm wading through the water to get to the bathroom. And I'm like, well, what am I like? I can't just let my pants drop to the floor. It's filled with water, So I had to stop it at my knees. And then, obviously it didn't last long after that, given the emergency situation. And, it was a little more difficult, but I got it done.
What is this podcast coming to?
All right, I can tell my poop story. We can go completely south with it.
Let's do it. Let's hear
best poop stories. Let's hear it.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, most awkward at least. I mean, I know this is going to be recorded, so everyone's going to hear it right now. But I'm sure I've had more awkward ones.
Hey, before you start, how's your nosebleed?
It's fine. I got it cleared up. It stopped fast. But this one just happened today. Like I've had bad ones at Disneyland where I like pushed a kid out of the way, like gently, and it shove him to the ground.
Jeez.
So like I was at Disney and I was like, like I ate something and it was like, you gotta go now. And like there was a kid like looking up at the sky and I kind of like just gently touched the side of his head and like shifted him out of the way. And I was like poop walking. I was like, but yeah, so get out of the way, kid. That was one that Caitlin always brings up, but this one was bad because we were driving 2.5 hours from Charlotte up to Danville, and Danville not very like much. I'm not sure where to stop. Let me just put it like that. So I was like, it started out, I was like, I had to pee, and then I was like, nope, this is a number 2 code red situation. And the Airbnb we picked was a studio apartment in a garage above somebody's house. So like they wanted to meet and chat. Oh, yeah, you know where this is going. Super Southern hospitality. Walked in, this place is super cute, full of antiques.
And you just met him. You didn't want to be rude.
Yeah. I was rude. I was like, Caitlin's here. Bye. I've got to go take a dump. I didn't say that, but I was like, I got to go use the restroom. And she's like, well, go ahead and do your thing. Like she said something about peeing. And I was like, just went in there.
Yes, ma'am.
And I turned the light on and I like,
they're trying to talk.
Yeah. And it's quiet. It's a studio apartment. It's like 400. So I'm like trying.
Is there a fan in here? Can we get out? That's the fan.
I like reached in. I was like, like as she was telling us about the antiques, I was like, excuse me, I gotta use the restroom. I was sweating when I told her this. And I like ran in there, closed the door behind me, flipped the light switch, and reached over, but began to panic because there wasn't a second light switch. And I looked up, and the venting is just like there's just paneling blocking it off. Like it's open. There's like
it's an open window.
Yeah, you see the roof here. There's like the joist.
No, there's something. And I don't know why more people don't do this. It's the courtesy flush. You got to do the courtesy flush.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no courtesy here.
If you do the courtesy flush, you will hardly smell it at all.
No, I couldn't. I was just trying to be quiet. I was just. And
that's the worst.
I could hear him talking in front of the bathroom door.
Did you turn the sink on at least?
I was like, please, babe. No, I did. I couldn't think. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. I was panicking.
That's one thing I don't understand why like bathroom fans are like advertising quiet fans. Like I don't want a quiet fan. I want a loud fan. Like you can put a box fan up there on a switch. I think that's the kind of level sound I would appreciate.
Like a white noise fan.
Nobody gives a shit that the fact it's supposed to suck moisture like when you're taking a shower out. Like that's its true. Yeah,
that's what it's supposed to be doing, right? But
it's supposed to like suck out the shit smell and cover the sound of you dropping a deuce.
Yeah. But so after I finished, I flushed, I walked out like and pretended like nothing happened as confident as I could.
You owned that shit.
I did. Sorry about that. It was a long drive.
Like you come out and you kind of rub your belly a little bit, and kind of give it a little pat.
Woo! I splashed water on my face so it looked even more sweaty.
You said this happened today. This is the Airbnb you're in right now.
4 hours ago, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's going to take the cake.
Stories in one day. Like, what are the odds?
I mean,
there's no way you're topping that, Jay. There's no way. You're like, I just got up this morning and took a shit and went on with my day.
Well,
drank my coffee.
Jeff, how old are you, Jeff?
43.
All right, so you and I are the same age. I don't really like. Sometimes when I wipe, it's like I'm hitting the tip of a magic marker, and it just never stops.
Oh my God, I hate wiping my ass. I would get a bidet
Y'all need
or
some
like
more
one of
fiber
those-
in your diets, guys. Go eat some Mexican food after this.
I would get I would get not like a whole bidet. Like I think it's ridiculous to have literally like a whole other like toilet next to you.
Oh yeah.
But like one of those wands that they've come up with. But I know my kids would find that thing and just
and cause another flooding
spray
story.
But no, I feel your pain, buddy. Like it's just like, when is it gonna stop?
What's like? All right. Yeah.
Here's my thought, and this might need to be removed from the podcast.
We'll see. What?
Because I don't want to get into too much detail, but I feel like if you waxed that shit, like there'd be a lot less situation.
Well,
I'm
said
not
you're
a very
motherfucker,
hairy person,
Jeff, so you can already benefit from some manscaping just from
Yeah.
what I've heard.
Manscaping.
You know,
Plenty of manscaping. Just not that. I haven't tried that yet, but I have thought about it.
I can bust that myth. I don't think that's not
From
that I've had
experience.
I haven't had anything waxed. I'm just not a very hairy person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this has been quite the interesting. This is way better than our last podcast.
This is the Morning Glory episode. When you leave a review, and I hope you do, don't forget to tell us who you are and leave 5 stars. That's from Dirty Jobs Micro. Listen, guys, if you're interested in exploring any of the products or services that I use to make my real estate investing career easier, or you want to explore joining us in the W2 Capitalist community where you can hang out with guys like myself, Brody, Jamie, and Jeff on a routine basis, there's going to be a link somewhere in the description or comments or something like that, wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast. But as promised, if you have any questions whatsoever, or you feel like I can help you in anything we talk about here today on this episode or any of the previous episodes, send me a text. I was going to say, give me a call, but chances are, if you're not in my phone book, I'm not going to answer. So send me a text. Let me know what episode you're listening to and how I can potentially help you. We'll find a time to get on a call. Okay. My cell phone number is 205-249-0248.